Hey guys, Steven here, Fanatic Perspective. I am on the road trying my best to broadcast here with this mic. So if there's a little echo or anything like that, please forgive me. But what's up, Bleacher Report family? What's up, FP family? If you're watching here on YouTube, hit that like button, subscribe. It's A&M week, it's rivalry week. Let's get it. Joseph Canoe, what's up, man? Sports fan Jack Artie showing up in here. He said it's BTA week. See, y'all come in here, y'all already know what time it is. That's what I appreciate. As soon as we get up, we're getting right to business. Okay. We're going to Kyle Field. Okay. Saturday, 11:30. Or I'm sorry, not 11:30. 11:30, the date, but 6:30 p.m. Daddy's home. Like I've been telling y'all. Okay. Daddy's home. And we taking the belt off and we doing new. It's not just BTA, it's empty the clip. Okay. Yeah, we talking early today. We talking early. It's y'all. I've been waiting 13 years. These Aggies have been ducking the smoke for 13 years. They didn't want us in this conference. They didn't want us in the SEC. They begged. They got on their knees and said, "We have to have the game at Kyle Field, or else we won't sign." All that's over with now. It's about ball, okay? And what's beautiful is what's at stake, right? An opportunity to go to Atlanta the following week and play for the SEC championship. Our first year in the conference, first year in the SEC after being Big 12 champions. Texas is already at a place and a platform where they can win two different conferences in back-to-back years. How impressive is that? How impressive is that? Back-to-back years, 10-1, as Steve Sarkisian said, with different groups. With different groups. But we get to have fun this week, especially knowing the playoff outlook is favorable for Texas. We know Texas is most likely in, regardless of the outcome of this game, which I think it provides clarity to our players of not adding additional pressure or anything. It's about beating your rival and beating Texas A&M. And like I said, addressing sportsman Jack already said it, the belt to ass list. And y'all know the three particular teams that were on that list. It was Oklahoma, it was Arkansas, and it's Texas A&M. Now we're going to talk ball, okay? Because if you listen to a Texas A&M fan or people that are picking Texas A&M, they're picking Texas A&M for non-football reasons. They're picking Texas A&M because of the 12th man. Not the 11 guys on the field. They're picking him for the 12th man. Okay? They're picking it for environment. It's giving Sooner magic. It's giving Sooner magic to me, where you can't explain how your defensive line is going to do this or your offensive line is going to do this. Like, there's not a whole lot of football talk coming from the side that is picking A&M. They think that Texas is going to go into that environment and crumble. Okay. Now, have people gone into Kyle Field and crumbled and fallen over themselves? Yes. LSU comes to mind in the second half. Okay. And if Texas does that and pussyfoots with their special teams, then yeah, we'll be in trouble. Texas will be in trouble. There's two concerns I have in this matchup in regards to Texas's matchup with A&M. Number one is special teams. The special teams of Texas is a concern for me. They've been shaky all year long. They've been a little cavalier in their return game. We don't have great punting game. We struggle to flip the field. That is a concern for me. That is something that can be exposed in a road atmosphere and an environment and flip a game. Okay. We saw that happen with Indiana, Ohio State. Indiana special teams they had good special teams all season. They struggled with their special teams. Their punter, Muff didn't even catch the ball. And then they gave up a kick return and it blew the whole game open. We saw LSU. Look, a lot of people talk about the quarterback switch. When Texas A&M played LSU, they talked about the quarterback switch from Connor Weigman to Marcel Reed in that second half. And yes, LSU did not have keys installed. They didn't know how to stop zone read. They acted like Marcel hadn't already started 4 games this year, and they were completely clueless. That falls on Coach Baker. That falls on Coach Kelly. However, if you remember in that game, they were still moving the ball, and then they had horrible operations on their field goal kicking unit. To me, that's what lost them that game in A&M. We'll put it in the coffin for them, because they should have been able to maintain their offensive pressure on Texas A&M's defense, especially how susceptible Texas A&M has been in the back end of their secondary all season. And this is stuff we've highlighted on the channel. This is not new. We've been tracking A&M. We track our people on the belt to ass list. So Texas's special teams is a concern and a key for this game. That is an advantage that A&M has. The other thing I question in this game is the SEC officiating crew that will be working this game. This is not just, people talk about the environment. I'm more worried about the officials in the environment than I am the players on both sides, because the officiating this season has been terrible, and I'm concerned about certain things getting swayed, or they start calling the game. Because one of the biggest ways to get somebody out of rhythm is if they start running the ball, holding calls, right? Drive killers, things of that sort, where we've seen that be an issue for Texas when we really wanted to go mall mode. I think back to Vanderbilt, where all of a sudden flag fest, and we're looking at it and we're like, are these legit calls? Are our screen game, our outside stuff? So we have to be cognizant of the officiating and making sure we're playing clean ball, making sure we're lining up. I hope that they let the boys play to a degree. I hope they let them play. I think it's going to be, think about the trash talk in this game. Kids on both sides. There's kids. I mean, Shamar Turner, for example, Quintravian Wisner, both DeSoto guys, opposite ends, right? All over the place. Our boys that we have from the Houston area, knowing where A&M is, there's commonalities. Many of these kids, if you're on A&M side, Texas was their second school. On our side, we have guys that A&M was their second school. Anthony Hill was committed to Texas A&M. And I'd hate to be A&M in this game, considering you're about to get a very pissed off Anthony Hill, who was not nominated as a Butkus Award finalist. He's pissed off. I would not want to deal with Anthony Hill this week if I'm Texas A&M. I know they said they got the brother Reuben Owens potentially coming back, and whoop-de-woo. Look, it could be gamesmanship. We will see. But I would not want to be Texas A&M with a pissed off Anthony Hill, knowing that he was snubbed in favor of a 27-year-old linebacker that likes to jump on the pile and Danny Stutzman at OU, but that's neither here nor there. Let's move forward. Now, Texas coming into this game, and this is going to sound arrogant, but let's go detail the tape. Who has the edge at quarterback? Texas. As shaky as Quinn Ewers has been, he has been very, very good in road games. Texas has not lost a road game since 2022. He's probably had some of his most iconic and measured performances in road starts. See Tuscaloosa last year, see Ann Arbor earlier this year, see the fourth quarter in Fayetteville. Okay, so I trust Quinn Ewers. It's weird. I trust Quinn Ewers more in College Station than I trust Quinn Ewers in Austin, Texas. I trust Quinn Ewers more in College Station. There's something about Bubba when he gets on the road. He has a little bit extra calmness, a little focus. I think he's a little bit more dialed in. I don't know what it is, but he just seems to get it done on the road and plays with a better sense of urgency. So again, quarterback edge favors Texas, okay? Marcel Reed is a good player, good young player, redshirt freshman. We know the mobility. Texas is very well adapted to mobile quarterbacks. The question with Marcel Reed is, can he hit the big plays downfield? Can he push the ball downfield? Can he threaten a Texas secondary that has not been exposed at all this year? A Texas secondary that has given every quarterback they've played absolute fits, to the point where people don't throw the ball like that against us. So quarterback edge with Quinn's experience, even with the injury concerns and all that. I mean, we want to go quarterback room. We want to go man for man. We got Arch. They got Connor. I like Texas's room. Running back, I'm going to say A&M. I like Wisner. He had his best game as a Texas Longhorn last week. I think Texas man for man probably has a little bit more talent than A&M does right now as availability. Le'Veon Moss obviously is injured, so I am not counting him into that. If Le'Veon Moss was here, A&M would definitely have the edge. But with Amari Daniels and let's say Ruben Owens coming back, they are light on that side, but Amari Daniels has shown me to be a reliable ball carrier. So Texas, because of Texas's ball security issues, I will give the edge to Texas A&M. Now, here's where we start running away with this. Wide receivers, tight ends, 100% Texas, and it's not close. Even with some of the banged up stuff, even with Jonte Cook leaving, Texas has far more depth, far more speed, far more talented pass catchers. We don't need, look, again, Barber, Noah Thomas. I love, y'all know how much I love Terry Bussey. That does not compare to the group that Texas will put out on the field and that Steve Sarkisian will deploy. Gunnar Helm is up for the Mackey Award as one of the best tight ends in the country. Say no more. Offensive lines, edge is Texas. Texas has a better offensive line than Texas A&M, pass pro as well as run game. Now, Texas A&M has really harping up the run game this year with Colin Klein, Crown over, Chase Pasantes, all those guys. They're a good group, solid group. As Floyd Mayweather used to say, I look at them on tape. They're straight up and down, no special effects. Okay, so when I look at A&M there, I know what they're going to do. I know what their liabilities are, especially in terms of going up against our defensive line in that matchup. Texas, look, we've already faced some killers on the defensive line all year. All right, Michigan's defensive line. OU had some good guys. Georgia obviously being elite. I trust our offensive line, especially on the road and getting lathered up into mall mode. If the coaches let them, Texas offensive line, we got 2 first-rounders, future first-rounders at tackle. We've got depth galore, experience galore on the interior with Jake Majors, DJ Campbell, Cole Hudson, Hayden Connor. We're rocking there, okay? Defensive line, I'm going to say push. A&M's defensive line is outstanding. Shamar Turner, Shamar Stewart, Regis. We know Nick Scorden is probably going to be a first rounder next year, the transfer from Purdue. That's where their bread is buttered. Okay. Here's the thing though. Texas's defensive line under Kenny Baker. I have that smile on my face. I'm grinning right now because of the growth, the development we've seen in season. They have become an elite unit on their own. They showed me something last week on all those short yardage downs. They've shown me something with Alfred Collins, who has now grown into a potential day 2 pick next year. Our edge play, young man by the name of Colin Simmons, Trey Moore, Baron Sorrell, all of those guys have been lights out against mobile quarterbacks. Let's look at, as recently as Taylon Green, right? Diego Pavia, Michael Van Buren Jr. Even when they put the orgy package up there in Michigan, we shut all of that down. And it started with our edge guys, our contained packages, and their raw speed. And then you add Anthony Hill. We'll go to the second level. Yeah, I'm taking Ant Hill and my guys at linebacker over Torian York and Scooby Williams at Texas A&M, edge linebacker, Texas. Anthony Hill should be up for the Butkus Award. It is absolute nonsense with his production, the way he is graded this year, and the impact plays, as well as being one of the most talented linebackers in the country from his freshman year. But again, the Butkus organization wanted to be in the lifetime achievement business and only nominated upperclassmen. So we see the biases there. We acknowledge it, and we will call it out. Now, A&M group, Torian York, great player. Scooby Williams, good player. I like Texas's depth there. They struggle in coverage, the A&M guys, a little bit more than the Texas guys, especially in some of that intermediate stuff. One of the things that Mike Elko and his staff will do, especially with Quinn, when we get into some of our empty sets, is they will go with the double mug, A-gap, B-gap stuff and really try to put pressure on us. And they've been effective at that when quarterbacks have let them. Now, a lot of quarterbacks have started to defeat A&M with their mobility. We don't necessarily have that option with Quinn Ewers, okay? Let's be realistic, Texas fans. Bubba's not going to run away from them the way Lenora Sellers did, okay? He's not going to run away like Peyton Thorpe did and extending plays. But one of the things we can do is scheme, timing, and understanding those looks and how to attack those packages, very similar to some of the pressure that Michigan showed, right? And how we ultimately solve for that. And what have we learned from the Georgia game? This is a great opportunity to show, all right, we've been playing up against some really tough lines. Kentucky had a very good defensive line as well. But Texas applied physicality, not just in their pass game, but in their running game. That's another way you slow these guys down. Texas A&M can be run on. Texas A&M can be run on. They're a good run-stopping defense, not a great run-stopping defense. They're nowhere close in the metrics to where we are. As a matter of fact, they gave up 200-something yards rushing to Rocket Sanders and those guys, on top of what they gave up to the tight end, on top of what they gave up to on explosives downfield. Jarquez Hunter just went over 100 yards rushing against them last week. So when we talk about pressure, I actually think that BV and some of the packages that they do at OU are a little bit more aggressive and trickier than some of the stuff that Elko will show you, believe it or not. Go look at the tape. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. I actually like the prep that we've had here because some of those looks are going to be very similar to what we've already seen. Now, different personnel, different theory, different coverages on the back end than what OU presents. But the look, the pressure, the idea of sending more than we can block and making the quarterback choose quickly and try to force him into a quick mistake. This is where Quinn's veteran nature, gamer ability, and just processing pre-snap, along with Steve Sarkisian, they can actually counter and have some really big chunk plays downfield. That's where people have been gashing A&M. Look at Cam Coleman last week. If Cam Coleman can do some of that, I look at a guy who's been really quiet the last half of the year, and I think we've been saving the Ferrari in the garage, and I'm going to say his name right now. Ryan Wingo can do a lot of the stuff that Cam Coleman did last week, okay? In terms of dominating one-on-one isolated matchups and winning, okay? Their cornerback play, that leads us to secondary. Texas has the best secondary in the country, in my opinion, overall. Texas A&M secondary ranks 90th against the pass, okay? That's below mid. Those guys are the gun beneath the park bench. There's no reason why we should not expose the hell out of the A&M secondary going downfield. Look, I like Dalton Brooks. I like Bryce Anderson. They're good football players. Dalton Brooks would be a really dope safety if it was the 90s or the early 2000s. He's a thumper, but he can get really lost in coverage. And that's where guys like Jaden Blue and Quintravian Wisner can also win when we get into some of our 20 personnel packages. If we go 22 personnel and he has to either guard Gunnar Helm or Jaden Blue or somebody like that, and you can catch him on a Texas route. You can catch him on a wheel out of the backfield. I don't like, or depending on the health of some of the slot guys, whether DeAndre Moore, with his ankle, if he's not as hobbled, some of those guys get matched up on Dalton Brooks. That's food. That's food. KYP. Know your personnel. That's going to be very, very key on knowing who to attack on Texas A&M secondary. Now, again, they force their pressure and their success. It's all tied together. This is why they're rooting for getting their powers from the moon, for the 12th man to charge up that pass rush to go get Quinn Ewers. That's how they see their path to victory. There's no other way. And then from there, unravel short fields, they can score and capitalize. But are they expecting Marcel Reed to go and drive 80 yards against Andrew Makuba, Michael Taff, who should be the Thorpe Award winner, Jahdae Barron, Malik Muhammad on the other side, a much improved Jalen Gilbo on the nickel, a much improved Jelani McDonald coming off the bench? I can keep going. Talk to me, chat. I can keep going. I got five or 6 minutes left here. Look, y'all let me know in the chat, what are your predictions for the game? How do you see game flow playing out? One of the things I look for early, Texas has been very horizontal based on offense early in games. I do believe Mike Elko will have defenses ready for Texas's screen game. Now, Sark, where are my tendency breakers? I think this is a great time to show off some of those aspects and to have beaters ready for those looks, understanding that Texas A&M is most likely going to come up and be very aggressive on the edges. What do? You counter that by going straight downhill and running through somebody's face. That's how you clean that up right away, because then they got to allocate resources to the box. And the next thing you know, you got your one-on-ones. Okay. And we can live in play action because we've established and we can run the football. That is going to be very, very key, especially early in the game. A lot of emotion. Talked about the 12th man, talked about the environment. Look, as a big dog, we used to play in environments where everybody's Super Bowl. Okay. So this shouldn't be anything new to these Texas players. And let's not forget, this game is on Texas soil. There's going to be about 15, 20,000 Texas fans at Kyle Field. Believe me. Believe me. Go look at the last time Texas played at Kyle Field and look how many Longhorn fans were there. So, yes, the environment's going to be nuts, but environments don't win football games, not just outright. You still got to have some football reasons. You still got to have some advantages, right? Some matchup that fall in your favor. Okay. And if Texas can go in there, and I've liked there's a reason. Again, this is a Texas group that is battle tested. They have not lost on the road since 2022. Maintaining that focus, execution. You have the matchups at all these key positions. Don't let it, and protecting against your weaknesses. We're going to have to protect against special teams. And when I say protect against special teams, that can also be a bonus for us. Silas can break one. Okay. Matthew Golden can break one in kick return. But what I mean by that is just being smart. Hey, you know what? Let's take the ball to 25. You know what? Let's make sure we're fielding the ball, good field position. We don't need to choose your own adventure on this particular down. You know what? Let's make it easier for our punter to try to at least, let's see if the guy can kick the ball 35, 40 yards. Who knows? If I'm Sark and them, I have very low expectations for the kick game. Even Bert's shaky to me. I'm just being honest, okay? If I have to be all the way a buck about this. But in terms of offense and defensive matchups, somebody's going to have to explain to me how Marcel Reed and Colin Klein are going to go and walk this ball down the field consistently against Texas's defense when they have not given it up in the air, and they've become one of the best ground units defending the run in the country. And they've defended mobile quarterbacks as good as anyone in this country. Does Texas A&M go to two quarterbacks? I think Texas could look, I like Marcel Reed, but I think Texas could beat Fright Night for him to where A&M's looking to pull him and go back to Connor because he can't get it done. That's what I think could potentially happen, because a crowd like that, if he starts struggling, they can turn. These people are emotional. And that 12th man energy can work against you if you start having some struggles. We saw it happen with Connor Weigman, game 1. Now, look, A&M fans will tell you week 1 doesn't count. Don't listen to them. Everything counts. They lost to Notre Dame. Why? Because Notre Dame came in there and their defense, which is also one of the best in the country, and locked their asses up. And they had Le'Veon Moss in that game. They don't even have their best player now. There's no excuse. Look, Colin Klein, by the way, we're very familiar with his work from Kansas State, right? Pete Kwiatkowski. We had much success against Adrian Martinez, Will Howard, Deuce Vaughn, Giddens, right? And making them throw on our terms when we played in Manhattan as well as Austin. So the matchup is there for PK. He knows what he's going to get with Colin Klein. It's just different personnel. And right now, Marcel is a young player, first year in the system. He's not where Adrian and Will Howard were in that offense, and they don't have a Deuce Vaughn. So Texas is going to have to go in there, play their game. Don't succumb to the nonsense. Football reasons, okay? You stick with football reasons. We don't lose to inferior competition. You go in there and you get it done, and you shut that crowd up. Let chat. Sports fan Jack said, my prediction is 27-17, stays close, but A&M won't be able to drive the field consistently. Yeah, I see the same. I think Elko's a really good coach. I think he's going to figure out ways to try to shorten the game, ball control, and they will have some trick plays, right? Big games like this, both teams will have some element of a double pass, maybe going for it in a certain area of the field. Expect to see it all. This is some people have said it. I don't know if I'm going to go all the way there. The pressure's on Texas A&M, especially being at home and protecting their conference. But B, they're trying to fight for their college football playoff hopes. Now they also have loser mentality in their fan base, and they will if they lose, they'll fall back to, and some of you already know where I'm going, they'll fall back to, Mike Elko's only in year one, and we look at the progress we've made. We're so excited that people are rushing the field against us. Losers. You've never heard me with that energy, ever. Since I've had this channel, I expect to win. We're Texas, okay? That's the difference between Texas and Texas A&M. They hope to win, we expect to win, period. There's a reason why they always get mad every time I pick them. They get mad when people pick them. They don't like expectations. We live with expectations. We're a big dog. That's the responsibility of being a big dog. And that comes with embarrassment. That comes with risk. It's not for everybody. It's not for everybody. But in this matchup, you're going to see a team that expects to win versus a team that hopes to win and wants to rely on the 12th man and hopes we beat ourselves. Because y'all know if Texas go in there and execute, this ain't no problem. There's a reason why they're, 6-7 point favorites on the road, and we haven't played anybody. You know what my fear is? We go in there and whoop their ass, and they're not ranked next week, and people are going to say, we haven't played anybody. That's coming. Belt to assless, Texas A&M, you're up. All right? November 30th, Saturday night, we're going to Kyle Field. I don't want to see no Bible verses on nobody's eye black, okay? We are at war. I need that Ryan Williams kill everybody on the Bible blacks. No John 3:16, okay? Now's not the time. Look, I'm Christian, my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, all that. But I need that you-know-what energy going to Kyle Field. Those are the only guys I want on the field. Chat, comments, hit the like button. Let me know what you think. Let me know your telltale. Thank you, sports fan Jack. Kill everybody. That's what I want. I don't want to see no hi, mom. Beat the ass and hide the Bible of God watching. Shout out to Kendrick. I love you guys, man. Joshua Canoe, you guys are awesome. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving. I'm getting ready to sign off. Stay on the Bleacher Report app. I'm getting ready to go to a production meeting. We are about to host our, I think, week 14 now. Week 14 college football pick'em show. So that is coming up here in just a few minutes. Stay on the app. You know, I'm going, I got the drink in me. I'm going back to back. Anyway, like, share, subscribe the whole bit. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. And remember, horns always up. Hook 'em.